Hi everyone, for tonight's Nightcap and review, I'm having a water, and tonight I'll be reviewing Bloody Quarter by Brooklyn Cross. This is a book I received as an ARC, but of course I'm giving my honest opinion. These are the tropes, and these are the content warnings. Pay attention, because this book is dark. If you've read a Brooklyn Cross book before, you know how dark she can get, so pay attention. Oh my god, this book made me feel things, regret things, question everything about myself. This book was amazing, and I gave it 5 stars. I'm really excited to talk about it. So what's this book about? So with this book, all it takes is one mistake, and with that one mistake, lives are lost and another life is completely thrown off balance. That's what happened to Alara the night that her sister, unfortunately, and her sister's best friend passed away, resulting in Alara being sent to prison all before she finished high school. It's years later when she gets out, and she is now just trying to reclaim what semblance of a life she can. Unfortunately, for a person in her position, it is hard to get a job as well as housing. Thankfully, though, she is able to get a job but is unable to, unfortunately, find housing. She either is on the streets some nights or in a shelter. It's years later, and after struggling as much as she had, she did develop a drinking habit. And not just because of everything that she's been through with the prison system, as well as trying to just survive outside the prison system after her time away. She's also struggling with what happened that night that resulted in the unaliving of her sister and her sister's friend. Eventually, however, she is able to dig herself out of the bottle with her job intact, but unfortunately still surviving on the streets. Daily, however, she does visit her sister's grave, and she is able to leave her 6-month token, I think it was, at her sister's grave as a show of how proud she is of staying sober. But being sober doesn't make surviving with what happened that night any easier. It actually makes it a little harder for Alara to live with what happened. So one night at her sister's grave, she just lays her heart bare, laying out all the broken pieces of what's going on in her life, hoping that her sister will hear and just having a cathartic moment. But little does Alara know that it's not only her sister's spirit that was listening that night. In the graveyard, there was a devil listening, and he heard and saw all of her broken pieces and now wants to fix this broken doll and take her home with him. But the question becomes, will he fix the doll or break her permanently? So what are my thoughts on this book? Again, I'm giving it 5 stars. Oh my god, Brooklyn is definitely an author that will push you in all the best ways possible. It will make you question everything about yourself, question your sanity of why you love books this dark, but you will love her for it, and you will love the books that you are reading. I loved this book. It made me feel everything. I was so heartbroken by what Alara was going through. I was so angry at everyone who crossed her and did her wrong. I got teary-eyed at some of the scenes. I got squeamish at some of the more intense scenes. I also, what else? What other adjectives can I use? I also got, there were some spicy moments, and they were, whew, they got me heated. And of course, I fell in love with Alara and Grayson as a couple. I loved the two of them together once they hit their stride, let's say. Now, like I said, I loved Alara. I really was heartbroken by everything she was going through in this book. It seemed whenever she even got an inch ahead in life, life would come knock her down and beat her back into the ground to just show her, no, you're not getting ahead. So that's why I loved Grayson so much with her, like even with his overprotective, jealous tendencies, which resulted in some twisted, sweet moments between the two of them. But really, after everything that happened to her in life, she really needed someone like Grayson in a twisted way, someone who would be there for her, who would go to war for her, and would just encourage her and keep her safe, or at least protect her. But don't get me wrong, she did not just lay down taking things. She did fight back a lot, and she eventually grew into her own and would actually handle her own business. And Grayson at those points would just stand back and let her handle it. He would probably want to kiss her 2 or more afterwards, but he would then clean up the mess for her. He'd be like, girl, you handled your business, I'm gonna handle this. I like things clean and done a certain way, and you did all the hard work, so the least I can do is clean up. So we love a man who can clean up, don't we? He had a whole system in place. But this book was intense. I loved the 2 characters. I loved everything about this book, and I questioned my sanity for it. This book, again, is 5 stars for me. It will be available tomorrow, August 20th. I know I'm getting it under the wire. I'm excited for the next part in this duet, so stay tuned. I'm starting that one tonight. I did start this one last night. I probably would have finished it in one day if I didn't need things like sleep or children and responsibilities, but I had a hard time putting it down. It was great. So again, 5 stars. If you like dark romance and you can handle these triggers, give it a try. You will love it. I hope everyone has a good night and happy ratings.